So this was the eye look we created today. I did splurge a little bit and buy a new Colourpop palette, and the shades in here are just so gorgeous. I absolutely loved them and had to dip in. I went with something softer, more glammy, but I wanted some warm tones incorporated in. Palette blended so beautifully together and the shadows performed so good. I can't wait to create more with this, but if you want to see how I created this look, keep on watching. I went and picked up the Colourpop Smokin Hot palette. They were having a sale, and this palette is 30 shades and it was only $15. So I had to pick it up, and I think this is probably gonna be my new favorite eyeshadow palette from them because the tones are like perfect. And they're way more beautiful in person. Like the warm tones are gonna be perfect for summer and fall, which are my favorite time of year. So we're gonna go in with some shades in here. I haven't decided which ones yet, and we're going to create a slight glam moment, I think. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling some mattes and some shimmers. So let's see what we're gonna come up with. I'm going to take this fluffy brush. This is actually an e.l.f. brush. It is just called the Fluffy Eye Blender brush, and it's on the bigger side, if you can see. And it's nice and soft and rounded. So I'm actually going to use that to go in with this first shade right here, Heat Wave. And we're going to start using that as our transition shade. So just going in with it on the fluffy brush, I'm going to start by packing it on the outer corner. That is actually super pigmented and a lot darker than I thought it was going to be. So we're actually just going to buff that into the crease, outer edge, and then start doing circular motions. Windshield wiper and a mix of circular, lightly using light pressure. We want to use light pressure because it helps with blending better. I'm not concerned with going all the way in like I would with a smoky eye, only because right here is just going to be all shimmer, and then we're going to start bringing some deeper shades in here. So I'm mainly just using it to create that seamless transition and then bring it up to the brow bone so it has a more light blend as it tapers up. And I did prep my eyes with my Tarte Shape Tape, which is what I usually use for, it's a concealer, but I like to use it as my eyeshadow primer just because it creates a nice matte base for me to work with, and I just love the way Tarte Shape Tape performs. I can't use it under my eyes anymore really, just because my under eyes are becoming extremely dry. So okay, so now we're gonna go in with the next shade right here. This is Hot in here, which is like it's a little bit deeper than this, but it has a red tone to it. So we're gonna use that to help darken and create dimension. So I am taking a smaller fluffy brush and I'm putting some of that product on it, and then we're just gonna pack that in the same spot right on the outer edge. The only difference is we're using a smaller fluffy brush, so we're just gonna kind of allow this shape to help seamlessly blend into the previous shade we used. So taking it, I'm initially packing it on because this brush, while it's fluffy, it does have some firmness to it, which allows me to be able to help pack. And then once I pack it to my liking, I then start to lightly buffer and then bring it into the crease with whatever's left on the brush so that I don't layer all the product inside the crease. And we're keeping the brush lower than the previous color. With the other brush, we brought it all the way up. With this one, we're keeping it lower to the lid and lash line. Blending is a trust the process moment. It is such a trust the process with blending that you just have to like breathe through it. So I'm going in with the first brush I used without any extra product, and I'm lightly going to windshield wiper over where that color ends. The one we just laid down, because there was a little bit of a harsh line, because sometimes even when you blend there you'll still have that. So you just go in and it will help you rebuffer everything in, but then you can still see the transition up. The more pressure you use with any brush, you're going to create a more harsher line. I like to do light touches to help create that seamless more blend. It also depends on what type of brush you're using, but most of the time I use that technique with literally any brush I'm using. And then there you go. So now we're going to repeat that on the other eye. Can you see the difference it makes? Okay, and right now this is what we have. I'm not concerned about these outer edges because when I do my base, I'm going to be able to blend that all in and clean it up. So I just kind of get a little messy with it unless I'm going for a very precise look. Then I'll apply some tape to keep it nice and clean. But most of the time, I'll just kind of let it do its thing and then clean up when I do my base makeup. With the shimmer now, and I ended up picking, I think it was this one. Was it Blazin'? I think so. It was. So this is the shade Blazin', which is this one right here. It looks very golden pan, but if you look, you see that slight red shift it has to it as well. Okay, so taking my finger, I am just going to apply that by patting it along the lash line. So that is where the majority of the pigment goes. And then slowly start patting up towards the crease. You can bring it slightly to the inner corner if you want, but I also am going to be applying highlighter there, so it'll help really blend everything together anyway. But look at how pretty that is. It's just so, and it was literally blending on its own. Like you could see like the transition happening all on its own. Depending on the colors you use, it really is, they really just blend seamlessly together and you don't have to do much. If you're using like a lot of shades and going for like a more dramatic and deeper transition, you'll have to use multiple colors to kind of get that almost effortless looking blend. But if the colors are very similar and you keep them close and just use them in small quantities, then you can absolutely just get a seamless blend. And that is literally all it took. It blended so seamlessly together that I really don't have to do anything else. I'm just gonna clean up to do my base and then we'll buff everything together to kind of tie it all in. But otherwise, 3 shades, 2 brushes, and my finger literally created a very soft glammy moment. And it almost looks like a sunset. And this is the completed look. I absolutely love Colourpop's eyeshadow formulas. They literally knock it out of the park every single time. And they're so affordable. Like, I own so many of their palettes. I don't think I've ever had a bad experience with one of their palettes. Each one has something about it that I love. So that's why I keep them for so long, and it takes me a long time to declutter them. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this tutorial. Please leave any recommendations below if you have any. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.